I'm cutting and I'm looking. So I feel like, you know, those guys at the sushi bars, right? And because you see everything as you're cutting, and then you see that guy that you ask him if it's his first time, and he's like, yeah, I'm really excited to eat here. And he's sitting right there. And so he gets his first piece of brisket and he puts it in his mouth, and he's like, you can read what he's saying to his wife or his friends, and that's so cool, you know? They really enjoy your food. You know, this is the stuff that you start off in your backyard, and now people are driving hours to come and eat it. It's pretty fucking cool, man. Today we have probably like 500 pounds of brisket. Brisket is king here, just like every other barbecue joint. So we do a lot of briskets. Those pits just don't stop when, you know, we start on Tuesday and they don't stop till tomorrow. And those are my workhorses, as they say. You know, my day starts getting here at 3 in the morning. You know, I do a little walkthrough, make sure everything's good. Tells me how much beans I should make and how much size we should have ready for the day. And then I come and start trimming and start seasoning for tomorrow. You know, we're always a day ahead, always a day ahead. So I get all the meats and taking them to the pit room, and I get ready for the day. I crank them up. I get the turkeys and the ribs and everything on one pit, and then get the briskets on the others. We do a lot of literally low and slow. We don't do anything hot and fast here. Our ribs, you know, take a good 8 to 9 hours. I like to get that fat rendered just right. You know, a lot of people complain lately that barbecue is so expensive. And I think people don't understand that the most expensive thing is not the price of the meats, but it's the time. You know, the price of time is valuable. And I mean by time, it takes, you know, 26-hour process to cook the briskets. It's my time. You know what I mean? We put a lot of labor of love, and to value my time, people don't see that. You know, people are like, oh, a barbecue's supposed to be cheap. Well, you know, barbecue back in the day is cheap because the cuts were cheap. Now everything's so expensive, and we have to make a living, because just as much as how everything in life is expensive, if you go to the grocery stores, you know, we got to live too. So you know, we don't do this for free. We do it for a labor of love, because, you know, to do this in and out 17, 18-hour days is literally a labor of love. I don't think a lot of people go into this thinking that it's one of these 9-to-5 bank jobs that people have. You either have to love it, or you're going to get burned out really quick. And that's the one thing that people don't understand, is that, you know, people are like, oh man, it's so cool, you got lines, and you got a lot of followers, and a lot of people praise your barbecue, and it's so good. But people don't realize how much time and effort you have to put in this goddamn game. Everybody's gonna have their definition of what they think is good barbecue, and it might not be the standard of what the founders or the owners wanted, but it's still good. But here, there's only 2 dudes you can blame. It's either me or Dave, you know what I mean? Dave Kirkland is my business partner, and really good friend for the past, you know, 13, 14 years. But our standards are so high, it's really cool to have someone that understands where you're coming from when it comes to what my standards are here. And he just picked it up, and he just got it from day one when we met so many years ago. You know, and I love it because they make sure you know that they traveled at 4 in the morning or sometimes 3 in the morning from the valley to come in and have our breakfast. Or Houston, or they drove from Dallas the day before and they stayed in a hotel. I got to bring my A game. You know, these guys didn't come to fuck around, man. know, when they say, oh, it's phenomenal, because they're tasting what I did when I burned the briskets, you know, or when I overcooked ribs, or I cooked ribs raw it reminds me of the times where, you know, I'd be in my backyard, you know, just cooking a slab of ribs, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Reading a lot of books, trying to figure it out. I never worked with anybody that taught me anything, you know what I mean? So this is from thousands of briskets or hundreds of briskets that I screwed up to make them better. You know, the briskets of today are not the same as the briskets of last year or last week. You know, we're always trying to strive to make them better, you know, because this game there's so much great barbecue out there. You have to be on your A game all the time, or you will get your lunch eaten, like big time. Out of all the compliments I get about the food and what Dave and I are doing here and how special it is and how people, you know, willing to travel long distances, my best compliment that I take to heart is when they compliment saying, you know, Ernest, your food is phenomenal, but I have never had that friendly wait staff wait on me. They're just so nice. He goes, it feels good to be appreciated, you know? And I'm like, that's what I like to hear, that my team is doing good. I love my team. I think any successful restaurant, anything successful, yeah, we put in our part, but you have to have a sense of a team that's willing to go to battle with you every day and be in the fucking trenches and get their butts kicked and taking pride on where they work. And that's the bottom line here. They got to believe in your philosophy. They got to believe in everything you're throwing out there, because I think working here it's really hard, but taking pride, saying, hey, yeah, man, I work at the Burnt Bean, and people are like, wow, you work at the Burnt Bean? There's only like 8 of us. There's only 8 of us. Burnt Bean, it wouldn't be as good as Burnt Bean is without my staff. My crew is everything, and people who don't appreciate their crews, shame on them, man. If you're in the restaurant industry or any kind of service industry, you're here to make people happy. To see a piece of meat, to only use, you know, wood, and to tame the fires, to get up here in the mornings and turn them on, you know, cook all day, then cut, close down, and then repeat, get ready for the next morning, and then do it again, and then do it again, and do it again. It takes its toll, but I don't know if I'm weird or something, but I get excited. You know, I get excited to see the crowds, and I get excited to come every morning. I wake up, and the first initial 2 minutes when the alarm goes off is a different story, but after that, I really enjoy what I do. I guess the whole deal is that I waited all my life for this. And when you waited your life for something that you wanted your whole life, I see it more as a blessing every day I get to do it than a job. And that's the difference, is that I love to come to work. I love the Burnt Bean. This is my baby. My whole goal is to be the #1 barbecue joint in America. And it's gonna take time, and I'll be here every step of the way.